Broken Eggs Media.
Faster performance, lower bandwidth costs, proven solutions for content delivery. CashFly. Stop hosting. Start delivering.
Welcome to the Movie Guys podcast.
We are the Movie Guys.
I'm Scott.
I'm Matt.
And this is our show.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Episode 14.
Episode 14, the first prime number. Matt, brought to you right here by the Movie Guys. Excited for this week. It's a good week. Do you think this might be just a little bit anticlimactic?
What?
This might be a little anticlimactic. We've had an amazing month here in May.
We really did.
Starting off with Iron Man, then we had...
Speed Racer.
And then Narnia.
Yeah.
And...
What else do we have?
Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah. What a big month. I mean, summer hasn't even officially started, but the summer blockbuster season has begun.
Indeed.
It's a month early. And what a month it's been. And now, finishing off the month, we have Sex and the City and The Strangers.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to have, Sex with Strangers. What more could you ask for, I suppose?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
I know what we could ask for? A review of those movies.
Well, you're in the right place, Matt. Get it? Place, Matt? Something to put your feet on.
Let's review The Strangers now. Alright, The Strangers. This stars Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. It's about based off of true events, loosely, I'm sure, about this couple staying out in this kind of remote farmhouse, and these people coming along and terrorizing the crap out of them for not really any good reason at all. And, the general horror hijinks ensue. What'd you think of this, Scott, who loves horror movies?
As we all know, I don't particularly like the horror genre.
He doesn't like it.
Don't like being scared. And this movie is very difficult for me, Matt, because I really hate being scared. In this movie, it was an hour and a half for me.
85 minutes?
85 minutes of torture, honestly. I absolutely hate being in the movie theater watching a movie like this, because I feel that this movie did accomplish what it set out to do, and that is to scare people. And for me personally, I don't enjoy it at all. I think I just get too into the movie, and I can't separate myself from it. I don't have any control about what's going on screen, and I just get tense, and I get uncomfortable, and I get scared, and I don't like it. I mean, that's just the way I am. So this movie is tough for me.
I, as we all know, love horror movies. All the variations of horror, the slasher and the thrillers, and I like it all. But this one, I have to say, this one, for me, the best thing about this one, I had a kind of a low expectation going in to begin with, because the trailer to me looked... They used the same devices in the trailer that I'm so tired of seeing, that, the slowly, walking from out of the darkness, standing there all, kind of weird. How many times have we seen that? The girl on the swing, and then she's gone, and then, she's in the doorway, and then she's gone, and then and then he's gone. It's like, are they ninjas?
Exactly.
They're ninjas.
Are they really walking around and...
I'm going to spoil it, but...
Yeah.
That's a device I don't like. Anyway, so I wasn't expecting much from the trailer, but I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Audio, for me, was a big thing in this film. It was very tense. They used a lot of sections where there was no sound, which there wouldn't be in the scenario. So they didn't play music in some scenes. It was just the quiet, which is creepy as heck.
And talking about the audio, because there are so many portions of this film that are silent, the ambience in your own theater becomes very annoying.
The people opening their candy and
or
nachos, or talking, or
my
laughing
gosh.
for no reason because they're being jerks.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm talking about.
And somebody must have a bag of M&Ms behind us or something. And
why is it that in the movies, of all places, people don't know how to open bags?
Exactly.
Anywhere else, they're like,
exactly.
Yummy. In the movies, they're like, I can't. Can you help me? Is there a pull string on me?
Yeah, let me get it.
Hang on.
There's no problem here.
Hang on. I can't. Is it upside down? It's upside down.
Shake it.
Turn it over. Maybe right there. Shit.
I'll spend the rest of the movie picking these up and grunting as I bend down. Oh, that was good. I'm so hungry. I could just eat my armrest. Oh my god. I hate people. I really do.
Except for you guys. You guys are cool.
It makes these people on the movie theater seem like, they're just probably idiots in the theater, so they deserve to die.
Yeah, this is the same issue we have with I Am Legend, a movie filled with so many long silences, which is not a problem. But in a theater, when there are a lot of other people, you're going to get people who are different than you as moviegoers.
Or they creak in their seat, or
they shift, or they talk, which is really irritating. But that's part of the movie-going experience, unfortunately. So for me, this film is not a film to see in the theater.
Yeah.
It's just not. Because when you're, like you said, you get caught up in the moment, it's hard to get caught up in the moment and then ripped out of it by somebody going, or, whatever they're doing. It's stupid. So
yeah, it's frustrating. And
it's definitely hard.
Again, my big problem with horror films, alongside of being scared, are all the very cliched devices that they use. Fortunately, there were no mirrored cabinet doors in this one. But still, like Matt said, there are people that should talk when they that don't talk when they probably should. Just walk into the room and not hit the light switch first. Like, that's kind of frustrating. Now, there's a couple times where this movie was smart, and so I appreciate that. Which makes
or logical, even.
Yeah. Or they're scared, so they are,
appropriately
disoriented.
Foolish. Yeah, appropriately foolish.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing for me with this one was it's like they didn't do all the cliches, they just picked one and did it a bunch of times. They did the whole thing with somebody, behind the character, moving in, the character doesn't know they're there, but the audience knows they're there, and they're like, oh god, they're gonna get them. And then sometimes they even do the reach out thing. And then, like, when the character turns around, of course, ninja-like, in a puff of smoke, they're just not there.
Right.
And it's like, dude, there's no way you wouldn't hear somebody coming up behind you like that, like on the grass or on gravel or whatever. On top of the fact that if they ran away like that, there's no way they could get away. Like,
yeah, it's just,
to me, that's such gratuitous. It's like only there
for the audience's perspective,
to creep
scare
you out. Yeah.
I mean, what is the villain thinking when they're like, I'm gonna reach out towards them? If they turn,
run away.
But if they turn around, I'm completely screwed, so I have to get away.
Yeah.
Like, what?
This is a bad idea. I better go.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. That's not.
Exactly.
But there were elements of this film that I really liked that were really tense. I mean, there were some really tense moments.
Yeah.
I was appreciative of. I was like, God, this is actually kind of creepy.
I was creeped out. I was really being tortured in this movie and I say that like, just, oh my gosh, I can't stand this movie. I could be anywhere else right now.
Watching Scott watch horror movies is shiny.
It's, oh god. It is really an incredibly uncomfortable experience for me. Something that I would like to avoid, unfortunately. Doing a movie review podcast
I'd like to avoid
doesn't
Meet
lend
Dave
itself
and
to...
The Love Guru and Meet the Spartans too.
The thing is I can dislike those movies, but I'm not terribly like uncomfortable and like unhappy in those movies. I'm disappointed, but I'm not uncomfortable, and I hate seeing these movies. I really do.
I have to say that although there were some good things and there were some bad things, for me, overall, I didn't end up getting a real strong emotional response by the end of the film. And there were things lacking that could have been done a lot better. And so, if you're a fan of the genre, you might enjoy it. But like Scott and I were talking about it after the film, like, I think this is the kind of movie that would be so much better if you were to, ideally, watch this in like a cabin up in the woods with, like you and your girlfriend and your buddy and his girlfriend, like alone in a cabin in the woods and watch this movie that way. Because that would just be such a more involving experience.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need something that's scarier. Like, honestly, I would end my life. I'd be an hero.
Oh, well, what are you going to give this? I know you've been debating back and forth.
I know. I don't know how to rate this movie because technically, did it do what it was meant to? Yes. But if I was talking to somebody like me who didn't like seeing horror films, I would say stay clear of this movie at all costs. I'm going to give this movie a 2.
Wow.
Because somebody like me, I wouldn't recommend this movie to at all. I would like somebody to tell me that if I didn't like horror movies, that I should completely stay clear of this movie. And I'm going to do that for those of you who don't like horror films. If you do like horror films, listen to Matt's score. And I'm not going to argue with it, But me personally, that's my experience with the movie.
That's interesting. I actually kind of debated a little bit on what I was going to give this. I'm going to go with the 6.5. I want to give it a higher score because I did find myself kind of caught up and like kind of tense. But then upon reflection, I was just like, there were so many little things that just really irritated me. I'm tired of horror movies just using the cliches. Like, give me something I haven't seen before. Give me another. And like I said, there were some good scares. There were a couple of good scares,
Definitely.
but nothing that took it to a level where it's going to be really memorable. And you know, another movie could do this, and I wouldn't think, oh, they got that from The Strangers. You know, like it's not that original. They didn't do anything super original. And being based off of true events.
And it was kind of weird at the beginning of the movie. They had like a, oh, and by the way, this ends in a bloodbath. Like more or less, they're like, nobody knows why this bloody mess occurred or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and then
oh,
you
so
rewind.
Yeah.
And it goes into that, and that works for some films, but it doesn't really work in this kind of film because it's not a romantic comedy where knowing how it's going to end ruins the film for you. But if you know that a film's going to end a certain way, it changes the way you feel about the characters and their struggle. So I think that was probably an unwise choice.
Again, my score is not going. I'm not going to say at the end of the year that this was the worst movie of the year. You know, it's not. I'm not going to be that. But because of my emotional. You know, the effects that this movie had on me emotionally, it was all negative. I didn't enjoy myself in the theater, and I wouldn't wish somebody like me to go see this movie.
Yeah, I honestly think that if you're a fan of the horror genre, check this out. It's not a bad film, but you know, wait for it to come out on video, because seeing it in the theater is probably going to be a crappy experience.
That's
because
true.
There's too many people out there that make the movie-going experience bad. And if any of you are watching, stop being a jerk.
Even if unintentionally.
Yeah, even if think a little bit more about the people around you, for criminy sake.
Yeah.
Stop being jerks. All right, now on to the big one, really, this week.
The big one?
The big one, Sex and the City.
Ooh.
All right, Sex and the City, the feature-length film based off of the TV show Sex and the City with Sarah Jessica Parker, Kim Cattrall. I don't think we have to really explain too much about this. Pretty much everyone has heard of Sex and the City, whether you're a fan or not. What'd you think, Scott?
Obviously, we're not the target audience for this. I personally am not.
Speak for yourself.
I've seen the show a couple of times. Just kind of familiar with the girls a little bit. And I can't really get into this kind of movie. It's these four ladies that are kind of living the high life a little bit, you know.
They're really into fashion.
They're really into fashion. They live in New York. They're wearing very fashionable clothing, but to me, I'm just kind of like, well, that looks kind of crazy. You're wearing a bird on your head, like literally a dead bird on your head, which these things are kind of weird to me. The ladies get in trouble and they're upset, and so they hire a personal assistant. Like, that's not the life I live in. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really relate to these characters in any way.
It's definitely a different world. And also, and this is very much, I hate using the term chick flick, but it really, the show really is, and not that guys can't enjoy the show. I've seen an episode here and there before, and I have friends that are guys that have seen it, through their spouses or girlfriends or whatever. Some of them watch it on their own because they just like it. But I don't know. I think this is definitely geared more towards women because the point of views and the emotional, dramas and all that stuff. It's all, chick stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me too, I definitely not the target audience as either. But I did have to say that it was pretty funny. I laughed. I found myself laughing quite a bit.
Yeah.
Kim Cattrall's character is awesome. She's just like a total slut, but like not in a slutty way. She reminds me of.
She thinks she's sophisticated.
Yeah.
And acts accordingly.
Reminds me of that. What's her name on Golden Girls? You know what I'm talking about?
I do. That's nasty.
Yeah, kind of. Except for Kim Cattrall's kind of hot stuff.
Yeah, even though she celebrates her 50th birthday in this film, which is kind of like, oh. So she could easily be my mother. Oh well, who cares? And might be. But in any case, while this is kind of funny, as with the series, I didn't think it's that funny. It's kind of a mix of a bunch of different things for me. It's kind of a drama. It's kind of a comedy. It's kind of like
a racy,
right?
Edge of the pushing the envelope kind of topics and trying to be sophisticated and. Yeah. It
just doesn't resonate with me in any way. I can't really relate to these characters
at all.
At all.
But like we said, we're not the target audience,
right,
for this. So, and we went and saw it anyway because this is what we do. We love you guys. We're gonna bring you.
I want to say at a midnight showing.
Hey, we went to a midnight showing for you.
Exactly.
That's love.
That is love.
That's love. I don't know if that's not love. I don't know what is. To quote a very popular song. Anyway. No, what we did was we actually brought in somebody who is a fan of the series and went to the midnight showing with us over in Sunnyside, and we brought her on the show so that she can give a more objective perspective on this film. I'll introduce you to our friend Amilynn. Hi, Amilynn.
Hello.
All right, how long have you been watching Sex and the City?
I've watched it from the very beginning.
So you've probably developed, a pretty strong emotional attachment to these characters. I imagine that's probably pretty important.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say so. At moments you feel like you're one character, and then the next, it's you relate to another one very well, and it depends on, you can apply it to what's happening in your life very well.
So that having been said, what are your thoughts on the film?
At first I was really excited before I watched it about what was going to happen, because the last, episode was set up and you've been wondering for so long what's going to happen and everything. And I watched it, and it totally was everything that I expected as far as the storyline of the movie. I thought it could have probably been filmed a little better, but it was still really, really good.
That's all kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
From this. And I guess most importantly, was there anything that you thought was negative? What did you not like about this film, if anything?
It drug on way too long. It would have been good if it stopped like at an hour and a half, 2 hours. But there was moments where it was like, okay, come on, hurry up a little bit.
Now, of the 4 lead ladies, who do you like the most?
It varies. There was moments where, Carrie was my favorite, because of her outlook on life, and she was just very free, in her life. And I think a lot of people look for that, and try to find that, instead of constantly being in these like little walls, and have to live this perfect little life, and Carrie did whatever she wanted. It didn't matter, but at the same time there was Samantha who was just, I don't give a fuck, kind of attitude, and did whatever she wanted and slept with everybody and made it okay. She made it okay for women to sleep with a lot of people and it be okay.
Okay, so being a fan, now, if I have something that's a TV show that goes into a movie, I probably am going to see it.
Yeah.
I imagine most fans are probably going to go see it. So, as kind of a silly question, I guess, maybe, but if you're a fan of Sex and the City, would you say that this is like a must-see? Like, do you need to go see this movie?
Oh, yeah. If you loved Sex and the City and you would watch this series and fell in love with those, I believe that 99% of the people are going to probably watch this movie.
All right, the moment of truth.
Oh.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, this way.
How'd you rate this film?
Good question, Scott.
Thank you.
Where do you come up with those?
In my pants.
Probably between a 7. It'd be a 7. I wasn't completely unimpressed by it. I still thought it was a good movie. It's not a movie that I am going to go see another time in the movie theater or probably buy the day that it comes out. Okay, so we've established this a little long. And it had some failings. I was being what's that word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
I'm understating. I was understating things a little bit.
Speak for yourself.
A little long. At any rate, should you see this in the theater, or should you wait for it coming on DVD, do you think?
After seeing it, it was probably a movie that I'd rather have waited to watch in my own home instead.
I'm a little more comfortable for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Amilynn, thank you very much.
Thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate it. And I think our viewers probably appreciate it. They got tired of looking at us.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Well, Matt at least.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah, I think Amilynn actually brings up a good point here. This movie is about 2.5 hours long.
Which is, that's long for any film.
Yeah.
Even a good film. 2.5 hours is still a long time.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
And we're kind of getting used to it. There's a lot of movies now that are pretty badass that are going to be that long. Mm-hmm. But when you're talking about like a romantic comedy or a dramedy, to be that long...
Yeah,
that's a little bit long.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot of the same. There's no like huge climax,
and you kind of know where it's going.
There's no I hate to say like action sequences, but really like emotional action sequences. Yeah. There's not really a whole lot in this film. I did like the writing, how everything from the first hour and a half was brought back in the end of the film, and I thought everything was well thought out, and I liked how it all came around in the end, writing wise. And the characters all had their kind of arc, and it all kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it definitely came across as, a piece to sum up, the show that's been before it, and really kind of like tie everything up in a nice little bow and finish things off, so that the audience can feel some sense of closure to, to their favorite show. So that's good.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of felt like at one point that I thought maybe I had slipped into the Twilight Zone and some sort of like seventh circle of hell where like this movie was never going to end. Like it was just gonna keep going in like real time. Their lives were just gonna keep happening and happening, and like, cause every time I thought the movie was gonna end, it was like, nope.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
It was like Shudder.
Except for the framing was much better. Nobody was like this, which is
Exactly.
always good. Because if I'd had to watch this whole movie like this, I'd have been like, oh, hi, what's up there?
One thing to say about the physical aspects of this movie, I might get in trouble for saying this, but
Probably.
Sarah Jessica Parker looks like Skeletor's horse. If Skeletor were to have a horse, she's all skin and bones. Doesn't really do it for me. She has an elongated face, kind of like in Shudder. No.
We can't reference that enough.
Yeah, exactly. This movie is nothing like Shudder. Let's keep that in.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep that in mind. I don't really find many of these girls attractive. Like I said, it doesn't really do it for me. I'm not the target audience. One of the girls in this, kind of the fun little, I don't know.
The brunette?
Yeah, the brunette.
The one that's married to the
bald Jew?
Bald pseudo-gay Jew.
Yeah.
That's the gayest straight guy I've ever seen in my life. Seriously.
It's all one big cover-up. 2 babies and all. But, or 1 baby. I'm sorry. And little Lily. Lily is fun. But, she was my favorite part. I got the most laughs from her. I thought that was funny. And I actually laughed a lot of things that weren't
Probably intentionally funny.
Yeah, I would laugh at things that would happen. I thought the race of the servant was funny, or the personal assistant.
Do we have to go there?
We don't have
We did.
to. I noticed it. Like,
course you did.
I think there's one black person in the entire film, and it's the
It's
like
just the personal
It's
assistant.
like the servants. Like, I thought it could have been a better choice.
Yeah.
They could have made a better
Yeah.
choice, maybe.
They're like the token
And-
person of color.
And the
That's not
funniest
fair.
part of the film was they were talking about relationships, and she's like, "That hurt," and I just almost lost my cookies. I just laughed for like 5
Where'd you
minutes.
get cookies? I feel left out.
That's okay. It's okay.
What are you gonna give this movie, Scott?
I'm giving this movie a 5.5. Just above forgettable. There were things that I liked in this movie. I felt that as a newcomer, more or less, into the franchise, that it made me interested. It made me grow a certain amount of respect for the franchise. I thought the writing was really good. The acting was good. Again, this certainly isn't targeted towards us, but it gave me an appreciation for it in some respects.
So you'll probably never see it again.
No, absolutely
I
not.
probably won't either. I'm actually going to give this movie a 6, just a step above forgettable. There were some memorable scenes, memorable lines, and pieces of dialogue and stuff that were really well written that I'll probably remember for a while. But for me, the length was just too long for me to really appreciate it. Although I think if I was a fan of the show, I might have appreciated the length, maybe at home on
Yeah.
DVD. Watching it in the theater for that long, this kind of movie, that's just too darn long for me to sit in the theater and watch.
This is like 2.5 episodes, so you could even almost break this up.
You could,
you know?
yeah. But definitely, I mean, it definitely, like you said, gave an appreciation for this franchise, and it is well written. And I'm not saying I'm gonna rush out and go, buy the box sets of Sex and the City and watch it all. But if it's on, I'm not gonna be like, oh god.
It's like, why is this
I might
on?
actually be interested in like stopping for a second and seeing what happens.
Oh, you'd
'Cause
watch
it might
the
be
whole
funny.
thing.
I probably would.
In your beanbag chair, in your robe.
Yeah. My smoker's jacket. It's a smoker's jacket, Scott.
All right.
God.
All right. Well,
It's a good time.
it is a good time.
I think it's one of my favorite times.
Hmm.
I think it's one of your favorite times too.
It's actually everybody's favorite time.
It is. It's trailers.
Yay!
Trailers. God bless them.
I love them, and I hate them.
You can.
It's like this.
Here's a good
I
teaser.
like women.
Zach and Miri make a porno. This is Seth Rogen and Laura Bush and/or
And
Elizabeth Banks.
And more importantly,
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, whom we haven't seen for a little while, and gosh dang it, we miss you, man.
Yeah.
Even though it seems like it's been longer than it has, maybe. Clerks
Yeah.
2 didn't come out that long ago, but
Yeah, that's true.
I get sad when I don't have any good Kevin Smith goodness.
I really am a big fan of Kevin Smith. I believe you are as well.
I am.
I think he's a really talented writer. He's very funny.
Talented. He grows as a filmmaker with each film too, which
Yeah.
is cool, he's got that whole, he went to film school and left kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And did it on his own, and I always respect that
Yeah.
as being like aspiring filmmakers ourselves. I always respect seeing somebody who can just do it.
Do it on their own, yeah.
Just do it.
I'm even big. I would consider myself kind of a big Kevin Smith fan. I have the Evening Harders or Evenings with Kevin Smith and Evening Harder, and also I got his book signed by him from Quick Stop Entertainment and stuff. No, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. Really like his work, so I'm excited for
He
this.
seems like a really awesome dude, like just on a personal level too.
Oh, totally.
So check that. We didn't show it on the show because it's definitely kind of an adult trailer.
Definitely Red Band.
Red Band trailer, but It's Kevin Smith. What did you think was gonna?
Exactly. If you like Kevin Smith's comedy, you should check out this teaser.
Definitely check out the teaser trailer. This is gonna be a pretty kick-ass flick.
Indeed. We also have the Coen Brothers' next opus, Burn After Reading.
And this has got Brad Pitt. The Clooney is in it as well.
And
It's
Tilda
the
Swinton.
Coens.
Yeah,
Tilda
bunch of
Swinton.
other.
It's the Coens.
Yeah. The Coens looks
the
like they're
Coens.
going back to their Big Lebowski kind of film. It's a comedy. It's kind of ambiguous. I think Brad Pitt... Oh, and John Malkovich.
Can't forget John Malkovich.
Yeah, Brad Pitt has some kind of information that should have been burnt after read, and he's like hiding it, and George Clooney's involved because George Clooney's involved in everything. And in everyone's...
The UN probably sent it.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's daily life, at least.
Seems like it.
So, yeah, it looks kind of interesting. Check that out. It's also a Red Band trailer, so just keep in mind.
You know, in the Coens, when they do something like they just did with No Country for Old Men, I respect they're just coming out and doing something else like right away. Like, I don't think they're going to come out and be like, we have to top this. How are we going to top? I don't think they're like that. They're like, all right, now what are we making?
Yeah,
Let's make
and
a
it's
movie.
it's a completely different genre. They just won Best Film for their drama, and now they're going back to do a comedy. This is great.
That's
I
awesome.
like it.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. So our first one to show you, The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Oh, yeah.
뭐 되는 일이 없어. 씨. 만기에서 자네가 최고 아닌가?
만주에서
윤터가 어디 있냐?
What an entertaining looking movie.
This looks a lot better than I think any that I've seen anyway lately. Any awesome action westerns in America. Thank God for the Koreans. They've just been doing some really cool stuff lately.
Yeah.
This just looks like a lot of fun.
We should maybe get in good connections. Go Korea!
Like Korea's awesome.
Korea's an amazing.
They're my favorite country to split in two in the world.
Exactly.
I love them.
Southern one. South Korea's got soul.
It's also got Koreans.
And
awesome movies like this one.
Exactly, and Team America. But no, this looks really cool. The whole western and like they're on the train and they're on horses and it's just it brings me back.
Just the style of the trailer. I mean, it makes this film look like it's just done really. I mean, I hope some trailers are cut together to look really cool, but just from the shots they use in the trailer, like it looks like a really well filmed action flick. I can't wait to see this. Subtitles or no. I mean, either way, dubs are always fun too, but this looks like a really awesome flick.
Yeah,
now,
excited for it, yeah.
I have to show something that it's kind of near and dear to my heart, and some of our crew members also, big Chuck Palahniuk fans. And we showed you last week the poster for Choke, and this week we have the teaser trailer for Choke by Chuck Palahniuk.
Excuse me, miss, that mole on your thigh?
Yeah.
You might want to get that looked at. Melanoma is the most common cancer for women, especially blondes.
What's your name?
Victor.
I'm Cherry Daiquiri. It's not my real name.
We are not born evil sinners or perfect knockoffs of God. The world tells us whether we're heroes or victims, but we can decide for ourselves.
My name's Victor. Sometimes the best place to start is at the beginning.
Hi, am the backbone of colonial America.
The tour guide.
I'm a historical interpreter.
Hi, Victor. How art thou?
That's funny.
She's an amazing woman, your mother.
She's getting worse. She never knows who I am anymore. Who am I today?
Some guy named Fred.
Oh, you'll never change, Fred.
So now you want to sleep with your mom's doctor.
What time do you get off?
You don't have to do that.
What?
Try to have sex with me.
Oh, I really do.
And this is where it kind of goes off the deep end.
All I had to do was answer one simple question. What would Jesus not do?
You can't fool people into loving you.
Want to bet?
Apparently, you're capable of having sex with everyone but me.
The fact that some part of you resisted turning this into the usual nothing.
I think maybe I want to like you instead.
Maybe you're not so bad after all.
No, dude, I am. I really am. Hey, you changed your hair.
Yeah, because of what you said about blondes getting skin cancer.
Good thinking.
I just want to belong.
Did you read this book?
I didn't read this book. Something that you might come to learn on the Movie Guys podcast.
Scott can't read. Don't make fun. It's not funny. Illiteracy in this country is a serious problem. We work on it every week.
Well, what I was trying to say is that oftentimes for movies like these, one of us has seen it. Or, excuse me. Read it.
Yeah.
I only see things, I don't read. So I just see words and numbers.
Not read them. He just
Exactly.
sees them. No, I think that's really important to mention, though, because a lot of that stuff, we have stuff that's coming up in the near future that, well, for instance, what's that vampire one called?
Twilight.
Twilight. That's a series of books, and neither one of us have read it, and we decided that one of us is going to probably read them, and the other one won't. And
given that I can't read,
it'll probably be me.
Another example, the upcoming Wanted. I've read the Wanted comic book series.
I have not.
Very interesting.
Same with Watchmen. I have not read Watchmen. I know that's
I have.
horribly wrong of me, but he has.
I only,
so we're gonna
I
kind
only
of
read books with a lot of pictures. No.
It's true.
Back to Choke.
Let's check out. What are you doing?
That's the international sign for choking. If you're choking, you do this.
Would you do that normally though? Would you be like?
Maybe.
Is that why it's the
Some people are like. But you're supposed to go like this to signify that you're choking.
So remember that next time.
You should.
Huh.
I don't know what you're choking on.
This guy, you rascal.
You're gonna be like.
Okay, that's enough. Just stop right there. This is a family program.
Sorry.
No, you're not. No, this book was awesome. I can't really describe to you enough how awesome this book was by Chuck. I read Fight Club as well, which was also a really awesome book, turned into a phenomenal film, one of my favorite films of all time.
Definitely.
But Chuck's up there as far as just being a really awesome read. It'll make you laugh nearly to tears. It will disturb you in some interesting ways, and it'll probably piss you off a little bit, which is perfect. So, and I think Sam Rockwell is such a great choice for this. I'm looking forward to this a lot.
It looks very funny. It looks very interesting, and I'm very excited for this movie.
Yes.
Indeed.
So, if it is Monday morning, once again, God, the weeks just fly by, don't they?
They do indeed.
That makes tomorrow Tuesday, and I would say we all know, but we all know what that means.
Yes, that's right. It's the Confederate Memorial Day, or as they say in Texas, the Confederate Heroes Day. Something very important happened in our country's history. You might have heard about it, the Civil War. The Civil War was a very...
Was that the one with the Nazis?
Yeah, and it's a very interesting time. If you want to see a good movie about it, catch Starship Troopers.
Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I can't even not laugh at that. I just can't.
No, this is a very, very important day to remember. Very important era to remember.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people, all they can think about is the major issue of the Civil War, which was slavery, and so that's kind of what resonates with people. But there were a lot of other things that the Confederates fought for that were important and that were honorable, and so the fact that they remember their heroes, I think that's important.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I don't wear a top hat like the old Lincoln did. I'm sure he had a bunch of ideas up there.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, as we all know, Tuesday is also DVD release day, and we would be remiss if we didn't inform you on what you need to go spend your hard-earned money on this week in DVDs.
Alright, DVDs this week is a very special week in DVDs.
It's very, very special indeed. As special as they come, I would say.
Semi-Pro comes out on DVD this week. And you know what's special to me about Semi-Pro, Matt?
Will Ferrell.
Damn it. No. Semi-Pro was one of the first movies that we reviewed. We reviewed it along with Penelope in episode 1 of the Movie Guys podcast. Let's actually look a little highlight reel, if you will.
Let's go back in time. And it brings a balance to it. You got Will Ferrell on one end, who is this ridiculously awesome promoter. I mean, that's what he really is. He's a promoter. He's not so much a basketball player, but for whatever reason, he's playing basketball.
Yeah, he's the owner, so he can do what he wants.
You know, whatever. But he's kind of the ridiculous end of the spectrum, and then you have Woody Harrelson on the opposite end of the spectrum, which, like you said, kind of brings a stability and kind of realness to the story. And then Andre Benjamin was kind of in the middle there. He was funny, but he wasn't ridiculous, so it kind of created
and all of
a
the
balance.
side characters are definitely really funny. So while Woody Harrelson's were a little bit slower, his moments were a little bit slower, they didn't drag the movie down necessarily. They were close. There was a couple times like, okay, I'm ready for this scene to get over. And then it was done, and it was fine.
Wow, you looked so much younger.
Yeah, you look...
then.
Yeah.
I was...
Have you gained a little weight?
Probably. A lot of it. Yes,
sorry.
I probably have.
No, good times though. Now we get to do something for the first time.
Yes.
I gave this movie an 8.
I gave Semi-Pro an 8 as well. It was a lot of fun. If you want to know what we really thought of it full on, go back and watch episode 1 for that review. And go out and buy this movie. It's freaking hilarious.
In fact, buy the 2-disc Let's Get Sweaty edition.
Unrated.
Oh.
And it's unrated. That just gets me
just
all
in case
excited.
there wasn't enough near nudity from Will Ferrell.
Thank God for that.
No, this was a very funny movie. Will Ferrell at his finest.
Yes. What about The Eye also is coming out on Tuesday.
Ooh, with Jessica Alba.
Prego Jessica Alba.
Yeah, speaking of her eyes, you could go watch her for a minute and a half and give her a staring contest and realize that she's blind. So, well, at least in this movie. Asians are scary. Keep that in mind. We also have Boarding Gate.
Yeah, it's got Asia Argento and Mike Madsen.
Indeed.
It's a vigilante flick.
Yeah.
IMDb didn't get very good ratings on IMDb, but it's got Asia Argento.
Yeah, and I saw the trailer for it and I thought, hey, that looks pretty good. So I want to check that out.
We all know trailers, it's like, if it's in the trailer, it's got to be. If the trailer's good, the movie's got to be good.
Exactly.
That's just the way we roll. with
Cause
trailers.
effect,
Yeah.
as it were.
We also had Control. It's a kind of a biopic.
Sort of lead singer of Joy Division.
Yeah. It's kind of a tragic story. He
Yeah.
killed himself when he was 23 years old. But, you know, if you like that kind of stuff, like the biopic stuff, check this out.
We also have The Onion movie. Matt and I are big fans of The Onion.
We actually had a video from The Onion just a couple weeks ago.
Indeed.
Yeah, if you don't know about The Onion, Google The Onion, and it will bring you to all sorts of wonderful goodness.
Exactly.
And I'm sure The Onion movie is great. I would like to see it. We haven't had a chance to yet, but we plan to.
Speaking of things that aren't good, we have...
Do we have to even talk about that? I almost feel like not even mentioning that this is coming out on DVD.
I feel the same way, but they're so self-deprecating in a way that they don't even understand. Meet the...
They don't need to.
They don't need to. Meet the Spartans comes out on DVD this week, and there's a special edition called The Pit of Death, or Pit of Despair.
The Pit of Despair is not from Meet the Spartans.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, anyways.
This makes me want to...
burn something.
Puke. And
burn something. It makes me want to puke on it and then burn it.
Exactly.
My puke would probably burn too.
Indeed. No, very aptly named, whatever it is. And it deserves no recognition.
Not at all. Please don't buy this movie, because then they'll think that people liked it and they'll want to make more. They'll think it was funny. And
exactly.
Let's just be completely honest, everyone. This movie is not funny. So please stop,
Meet the Spartans is from hell.
Alright, let's move on to something...
Not from hell, as it turns out.
Yeah. I thought it was at first, but then turns out, it's not.
Yay!
It's the news and...
rumors. Quentin Tarantino has finally made his next project official.
It's going to be a war film with the awesome title
Inglourious Bastards.
We've been waiting for this for a long time.
So has Quentin Tarantino.
This is one he's been talking about since before
Grindhouse. I mean,
yeah.
Kill Bill kind of days. He's looking forward to this. I think he's going to deliver another masterpiece.
Awesome. Yeah, probably. Check out the awesome here poster for Ong Bak 2.
Ong Bak. Tony Jaa, you elbow-wielding son of a gun. I love Tony Jaa. He's a hero of mine.
He's awesome. That guy's he's just amazing.
Check out the projector climaxes. There's like 10 in that film.
There's the one with it's like going up around a circular building. It's like one camera shot.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like
I can't even imagine like choreographing something like that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you check that out.
It's actually
the
from
plots
a film
are
standpoint,
like
ridiculous,
but the fight scenes are just awesome.
And check out this poster from the Witchblade movie.
I would say that's sexier than a water hose as he 3 or 4 times before he with like a little drink straw and then
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Hilary Swank.
Ew. And Ewan McGregor
will star together in Amelia.
Yet another biopic.
This one obviously about Amelia Earhart. Rainn Wilson,
who we'll soon see in The Rocker.
He's set to play in Transformers 2.
But who really knows?
No one knows what the Bay knows.
Ooh.
If you've seen this new Milk ad featuring everyone's favorite Caped Crusader,
then you probably think the same thing that we do.
This batsuit borders dangerously closely to being as completely gay as anything created by Joel Schumacher.
At least it doesn't have the dime nipples.
Or the George Clooney.
George Clooney's dime nipples. Ugh, never mention that again, please.
I don't know if I'm excited by this or horrified.
Eddie Murphy wants to make a 4th Beverly Hills Cop.
Now, if this is rated R, and not
Meet Dave.
Not the current Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, not the Eddie Murphy that we've unfortunately grown accustomed to over the last couple of years.
Yeah, we want some good old foul mouth, badass Eddie Murphy back. This actually could be good. And Brett Ratner is like kind of talks to direct.
Eddie Murphy wanted Brett Ratner to produce, so I don't know if he's done a rated R film yet, but I hope this is his first rated R film because I miss that Eddie Murphy. Don't you?
I think everyone does, really.
I think so. More awesomeness we've seen lately is the incarnation of S. Darko.
Yeah, and now Elizabeth Berkley's joined the cast.
Well, now it's a movie. I mean, what more could you ask to make it less relevant sequel that doesn't need to be made, even less relevant than a washed-up hack actress who nobody remembers?
Did you just channel Screech?
Maybe it was me talking about that washed-up actress.
Wow.
From?
Don't.
Ooh.
If you don't know, you all it needs now is George Clooney to star and Uwe Boll to direct.
Oh my God.
I don't think God would have anything to do with that.
I think God would condemn that.
I hope so.
The great Robert Rodriguez is pitching...
A tent.
No, he's pitching a TV show called...
Women in Chains.
No, I am.
Whoa. Pitching a movie.
I'm pitching a Movie Guys podcast. It's about a women's prison.
Starring Rose McGowan.
Another tent.
There's tents everywhere.
There's tents popping up everywhere. Maybe I wouldn't take it that far. And coming, as no surprise to anyone.
Million Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull pulled in its opening weekend a whopping, drumroll please,
$126.9 million American dollars.
That's a lot of dollars.
In its first weekend. 6.9.
Well, just go with... No, I guess it's not as cool. So, no Uwe Boll news to mention this week.
Well, just... thinking.
He still rocks. Wow. Man, this is like my least favorite part of the show.
I know.
The end.
Saying goodbye.
I hate to say goodbye. I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
Which brings us to next week.
Next week on the Movie Guys podcast.
You know what?
Next week gets better and better every week.
Exactly. So it's like
the future is
two
just
goods.
I need some shades.
Yeah.
That's how bright the future is.
Exactly. I agree with that. That's a good way to put that, man.
Yeah, I came up with that.
Okay, so
week 14.
We just got done with May.
Yeah, wow.
5 weekends in May. Not often do we get 5 weekends, movie weekends.
A lot of good stuff in May too, man. It's awesome because the bar's been kind of set pretty high.
Yeah,
I mean, Iron Man being at first out of the gate, that's like a pretty hard.
And the thing is I don't think it's been passed.
Not yet. I don't think so yet either.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That's like John Favreau saying, "Here's the bar, past that." And everyone's like, "Ah, crap.
Now what do we
Let's go back to a reshoot."
Let's reshoot.
Exactly, Hancock. But looking forward to June. Big month next week.
Yeah, next week we've got Kung Fu Panda and You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
Ooh, Adam Sandler. Hopefully this is good. I have some faith.
Here's the thing. You got coming up very shortly after that is the Love Guru with Mike Myers, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. I think it's the same old jokes with a slightly different accent. It doesn't look that funny to me. These two movies are kind of in that same.
Yeah, it's kind of like these remarkable Saturday Night Live actors.
Yeah. Doing their thing. But I have to say, out of the two of them, the Zohan definitely looks funnier. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'd love to be surprised.
Me too. June's also got. Is Wally in June?
Yeah.
Wally's in June.
I think it's July 7th.
Is it July? Okay, my bad.
And also The Incredible Hulk and
June
The Happening.
13th and The Happening on the same week, June 13th. That's gonna be.
That's gonna be great. The Hulk is happening.
The Hulk is happening.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff to look forward to. Hopefully some other like super secret awesome things that we can't tell you about just yet.
Yeah, indeed.
That'll be upcoming with the show and your favorite two movie hosts,
Ebert and Roper.
For shame, Scott.
That's almost in bad taste.
That wasn't poor taste.
Actually, I just wanted to say this is kind of interesting. Ebert's not doing any on camera. He's not at the movies with Ebert and Roper anymore. He's still writing.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But they actually, I think in his respect, in his honor, they're dropping the 2 thumbs up. They have dropped the 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, they're changing the format.
Right, and I think it's
they're retiring the jersey.
Skip it or ticket. It might be. I'm not sure about ticket, but it's
something like that.
Yeah, something catch it or skip it. I know skip it is kind of. It's interesting, but
it's kind of like the new school, catchy.
Exactly.
Type thing. It's not as good as us. Not much is.
What can you say?
Hey.
Ego's like the Clooney.
Hey. That's something to. That's
something to aspire to, perhaps.
Yeah.
No.
So you've been watching. This is what, week 14 already?
First prime number.
Goodness gracious me, the first prime number. Math Genius is over here. Forget about it. This is week 14. You've been watching the Movie Guys podcast.
Again, episode 14.
Which episode are we on?
14.
14.
Actors sniff jackets.
They do.
I'm Scott.
I'm Matt.
And remember, kids.
Ooh, oh God.
The water hose.